Welcome to another aXpire update, this time for week 34 of 2019. This week at aXpire, we've been hard at work continuing development of all of our products. We have a number of key partners that we're working hand in hand with to get things over the line. We're excited to share some of these partners with you in the not too distant future. One thing we can share for this week is that we've begun work on a complete website redesign, bringing the .com and .io websites into one large central aXpire hub, both for businesses and for token holders alike. We're working to ensure that we're optimizing SEO and brand coherency, and that would entail making the .com the only aXpire domain we operate, and the main domain and reference point for all information on all of our products. There'll be two main categories on the website, for businesses and for everyone. Stay tuned for more news on this front, as well as for sneak peek pictures of the designs. Next, we have This Week in Crypto, bringing a collection of news and happenings from this past week to your attention, as well as giving you our brief opinion on them. This week, it was announced that crypto exchange startup called Inx Limited is planning to raise nearly $130 million through an IPO on Ethereum registered with the SEC. This is not a typical IPO, but rather a proper IPO that can be marketed to US, retail, and accredited investors alike. And it's the first of its kind to be accepted by the SEC. There has been some controversy surrounding the announcement, given that outspoken Bitcoin maximalists and Ethereum naysayers are listed as paid advisor for the startup, making several members of the crypto space cite hypocrisy from these specific individuals, given that the project is based on Ethereum. We're interested to see how their IPO fares, and we think it's good to see the SEC being open to registered sales of ERC-20s to US persons. In other news, the World Bank recently sold $33.8 million worth of bonds issued on a private instance of the Ethereum blockchain. Andrea Dore, the World Bank's head of funding, said the following in a press release, quote, "We are happy to see the continued strong support and collaboration from investors and partners. The World Bank's innovation and experience in the capital markets is key to working with our member countries to increase digitization, to boost productivity in their economies, and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals." End quote. In total, the World Bank has now raised $108 million from bonds issued on the blockchain, marking a distinct milestone in the use of blockchain technology for traditional instruments of value. We hope to see further institutions jump aboard the blockchain train, realizing the immense benefits to tracking value and ownership and creating immutable records. Patrick Byrne, the former CEO of Overstock and outspoken Bitcoin supporter, resigned from his position this week as the head of Overstock. In doing this, he handed over the reins to the president of their blockchain arm, Medici Ventures. Byrne was one of the only supporters of blockchain and cryptocurrencies that operated at the head of a publicly traded company. His reason for stepping down was a 3-year relationship with Maria Butina, an agent of the Russian state currently imprisoned for an 18-month term. This is most certainly an unexpected turn of events, and we hope it doesn't color off badly on the positive aspects of Overstock, a publicly traded company, being a large adopter of Bitcoin and blockchain. Coinbase recently announced that they're supporting the use of Coinbase Wallet with desktop dapps. They're doing this by releasing an open source system called Wallet Link, which allows developers to add their dapps with Wallet Link in order to allow the individual users to link their Coinbase wallets with the dApp itself. We're going to be exploring the use of this for Matchbox, perhaps adding it in for users wishing to use DAI and Ethereum, two assets that are both supported in the Coinbase wallet, on Matchbox. To begin with, only a few select dApps are available with Wallet Link. However, we think that'll expand quickly as dApp developers integrate the feature. In a report from the Financial Times, it seems as if everything is not going so well with the Libra project, spearheaded by Facebook. According to the report, 3 of the firms in the Libra Association are reportedly dissatisfied with being linked to the project in light of Libra's recent regulatory sparring with the United States Congress and with the EU's interests in pursuing antitrust investigations against the association. 2 of the firms are supposedly considering pulling out of the association altogether, which would be an interesting move given the $10 million entry fee. To directly quote CoinDesk's coverage of the case, "It's going to be difficult for partners who want to be seen in regulatory compliance to be publicly supporting Libra," one of the companies told the Financial Times. A Libra backer also said that Facebook should have addressed the regulatory issues before announcing the project to lessen the pushback. The last piece of news for this week's update, the SEC recently settled with the ICO site ICO Ratings, citing their failure to disclose payments they had received in exchange for their reviews. Melissa Hodgman, the Associate Director of the SEC's Enforcement Division, said ICO rating violated Section 17B of the Securities Act of 1933. Quote, "The securities laws require promoters, including both people and entities, to disclose compensation they receive for touting investments so that potential investors are aware they are receiving or viewing a paid promotional item. This requirement applies regardless of whether the securities being touted are issued using traditional certificates or on the blockchain." Regardless of one's views on crypto regulations, it's good to see that malicious actors are being cleaned out and up from the industry. Bias reviews are certainly not adding any value to the industry at all. That's all for this week's update. We hope you'll join us again next week.